Yeah, just got to him in the end.
Can't really blame the lad. Either way, though, Salamander on the T side of Inferno going to be looking to try and push up middle sooner rather than later. They still have the bomb carrier, interestingly enough, way back at spawn. He's not AFK. He's actually alive. He's just watching for the flank. And that would suggest that they may end up falling back towards Banana, but because they have got that first pick, it could lull them into a false sense of security here on the push. Now they are going to have some more kills coming through. It's going to be Surreal that's landing some USPs. It's going to be 2 and maybe even a third unless Aaron is real careful and he decides to go aggressive and he will get a third, but he gets traded out instantly. And now the bomb carrier of Benito, who has just sat back on T steps for the entire round, is making moves towards B. And he may get found sooner rather than later.
Yeah, he will get the plant, so there's that money, I guess you could say, but quickly put down by Matty Max afterwards, so all he will get is the ensuing money bonus that you do achieve from a bomb plant. A decently close round. They were able to get 3 kills thanks to Aaron and have a chance at it, but Endpoint were able to maintain control of the round pretty much from start to finish on that one.
It's a really strange, scrappy pistol, wasn't it? Like, it ran into a stack, then Salamander nearly won out in the trades. You had Aaron teeing off with a Glock with 3 kills. You're thinking, okay, here we go. And then Benito tries to push B and just gets sideswiped instantly.
No, absolutely. We do see Endpoint getting a pretty aggressive here on top of Banana to kick things off. Obviously, they're going to have the utility advantage in most cases, though. With that bomb plant, Salamander actually have a pretty decent buy here. They are now going to push off top Banana and get some space for themselves.
Oh, Thomas overextended in the Tech 9, quickly sweeps him apart. Mighty Max, though, on the right side of the smoke, the wrong side of your Salamander. And they are being cooked and pressured. And they have been completely dismantled. Endpoint off to a 2-0. It's feeling the worst for them, though, Dust, when the Tech 9 headshot just instantly comes in Banana. I'm thinking, oh, no, not like this.
Yeah, thinking they might get overwhelmed, but Mighty Max able to, do some good peeks around that smoke that they had at top Banana. That Salamander kind of tried to force themselves through and wound up coming to their demise. So now they are just going to be on mostly Glocks. They do have 1 Deagle on Corey. Nade's going to come down middle here. Actually doesn't find its mark, so no early damage just yet against Salamanders. They're actually trying to nade stack themselves towards top and it does a world of damage onto Thomas and Mighty Max. But now the responding nades from Endpoint, a tactical nuke of sorts, going to get him a couple of kills.
Yeah, we're never really hoping for much out of this round for the Hungarians, but maybe a kill would be nice. Just force a couple of replenished buys. It's not looking like that's going to happen, though.
Nah.
And now the question for Endpoint is, do you want to just hold on to these, the Nova and the MP9 and run a bonus round, or do you want to upgrade them? I guess that's what we're going to find out right now.
I would think the MP9 stays in play at least. Nova's a little bit harder to keep rolling. But no, looks like they are going to keep both indeed. There's only so many ways you can use a Nova. I feel like you have to get up close, whether it's on half-wall Banana or somewhere in apartments. Obviously rotating with that gun's a nightmare, so we'll have to see what they can do.
Yeah, it's so trash against armor, isn't it? Like, you really have to be in someone's face and hit them with a headshot, otherwise you're not going to do anything. But Thomas is going to be playing it on B alongside Mighty Max. And so far, no early confrontations have really kicked off, so both teams going to be coming through relatively untouched. It's only Aaron that's down 5 HP. Some flirtation in middle, not really going to result in anything worthy of speaking about.
He does have the AWP now, and he's been the main guy for this team when it comes to fragging. When you look at the stats over all their online play this year, he's really been far and ahead of everyone else on his team. So they really need him to get going. You feel like he's going to have to be the catalyst if they're going to have any success. And right now, it's like they're trying to pry open this B-bomb. So another smoke comes in, though, to slow them down. A boost is now in play as well with Thomas. Top mid being taken by Aaron, but completely squashed.
Mighty Max doing a bunch of damage, able to somehow fall back into the smoke, and there is a headshot, I think, from the Nova, but it's not going to finish Corey off. This is why we were both curious if that Nova will get upgraded. And with the onslaught of kills onto the site, they're going to look to try and save these guns. And they do have more than enough money to buy regardless of whether they save or not, but it just means they can get that extra little buffer and also trade up to the likes of the AK-47. So it's going to be a really solid buy next round. But great news for Salamander. Finally, they have been welcomed onto the scoreboard. They've got themselves their first round.
And good entries onto that B bomb side. Didn't lose a single player on that take. It was only Aaron at top middle who got put down. So really clean and execution of that B bomb site. As you said, it'll get them on the scoreboard. So they're looking to, improve. They did have the win against Trick last week, but that was it. So they're nearing the bottom. They really need to do some big things this week to get the playoffs. And as we noted, Endpoint was a team that pretty much smashed them last week. They had a really close game against alternate attacks, though, in response. It was like a 16-14 game, I think. So they definitely, has some things going for them.
I think if you look at the overall group standings, it seems very one-sided on paper, but in reality, Salamander are a team that they certainly can stand tall and fight against some pretty decent teams that we've been witnessing recently. As you mentioned, AGO earlier, as Crucial takes that grenade on his face, he's down by 50. We'll have to turn tail and get out of there with the AWP.
And banana control being established here by Endpoint. Monty Max pushing deep. So that's going to give Endpoint a lot more flexibility to rotate a fourth member over to A any moment now. And indeed, you do see Thomas making that maneuver. Although it is a bit of a rotation for Surreal, because Surreal still has one smoke left. So they're doing a great job rotating around to make sure they get their utility where it needs to be. As that smoke from Surreal could prove to be very vital, as it seems a couple players are coming back towards Banana here for the Salamander side. And they are setting up a pop flash from Coolio as well to get those players in position. Though it is a bit of a sham that bomb's actually coming through apartments at the moment. But with that smoke, Surreal might backpedal.
Just over 30 seconds to play with those. Salamander have got to get a move on. Flash is coming out. They're going to be fully committing onto the A site. Robin in first with the kill, and there's Thomas as well. A 2-for-2 trade. Bomb spills out into the open. And time is still dwindling. That's a huge entry from Benito. He's not aware of whether there's some more players on the site. And they need to be careful here. They don't let themselves time out. Why is the bomb not moved across there? What's happening? Finally, it goes across. The AWP is going to ring out from Realtors. And that does pick up Mighty Max. And in comes the save from Surreal. So Salamander get it done. It was incredibly close. A matter of milliseconds. But it's going to go their way.
Yeah, they did a good job with that pop flash, kind of keeping those two players in place deep in B, which means their rotation was actually going to be really long, because it's either you push through your own smoke to go through banana to middle, or you have to go all the way back around through CT spawn from top B, which is a pretty long maneuver. And at that point, it just comes down to the site defense, and Salamander just were the more efficient team when it came to trading there. I mean, Thomas and Robin got one apiece, but that was it. Salamander still survived with 3 members throughout that battle. So all in all, not bad here these last couple of rounds from Salamander, starting to get on the board in a big way, starting to somewhat chip away at their opponent's economy, though it's still quite strong. Definitely good for a full buy in this next round. Op going to come out as well here for Crucial. I think it might be one of the first times we've seen an op from Endpoint this map.
Yeah, buy will be forthcoming, but I suppose Salamander's confidence will be growing. They've got 2 rounds in a row. After the first 3 were complete bloodbath, to be honest. So definitely turning the momentum of this game around in their favor. Still 3 players on B. This completely gives up middle control entirely. And they're keeping 3 players over here still. They thought about sending Crucial across towards the A site. I don't know if this is a lapse of communication on what's going on. Finally, they're going to rotate 1 player across, but look how much real estate and how much map control Salamander have got off the back of that.
Yeah, I mean, they got full apartments. They have top middle cleared. Endpoint aren't really sure of themselves at all. You can see the Thomas still floating in CP spawn, unaware of what's going on here, and the take is going to commence now because of that on this A site right now. Just Surreal left, and he's been as well by Corey, and so this bomb is certainly going to get planted here any moment now, and Endpoint are forced to backpedal. They don't really have the money to go for this retake, especially being this out of position, and that is a real tough one for Endpoint. They just got caught well out of place.
Now, I'm just trying to figure out why they cancelled the rotation back to A like 2 or 3 times. It seemed like Crucial was back and forth so much you would have been dizzy, like through Speedway. I don't know if maybe a call was miscalled in terms of Banana, or if there's aggression, or if there's just a lapse in communication, they're not on the same page. I don't know, but like leaving 3 players on B for that long and not taking banana control and not actually having any information seems like such a gamble play this early in the half.
Yeah, that is definitely a wild one. I don't know if they're just misreading Salamander a bit or have a scouting report that we don't have about what Salamander likes to do, and that they're now Salamander's doing something different. Really tough to say. Also, one of those things where maybe just the way that their money was, they knew that they needed to gamble a stack, and if they were wrong, then they would just save. You know, maybe already thinking ahead that far. I'm not really sure. Either way, we're back into the next spy round with a tied game.
A tie game, but with 3 rounds in a row to the Hungarians on the T side. And they've been pretty straightforward rounds as well. They've had a very good read of Endpoint. Now they're stacking up for potential fast B play. And a lot of damage put down onto the AWP on the T's. He's going to get finished off from the grenade of Thomas. He was softened up significantly from Mighty Max's M4. And Salamander seemed to be stuck on the back foot. There's another grenade in. Chips away 3 players.
And they're getting minced right now on top banana position, losing a player, as you said. 3 more being softened up into 1-tap range for the M4s. And they're not giving up just yet. They leave 2 players here at top and the bomb, and another player going towards middle. So it seems like they're trying to throw a bit of a fake towards B, and then they want to try to go A. Patsy Incendiary actually does get an entry thanks to Coolio. So it's keeping those players busy here. In the meantime, Salamander are kind of second-guessing themselves a bit. They actually thought about going B, but now they're going back to middle once more. They're going to try to wrap B through Arch, which is wide open, by the way. This is great from Salamander.
Yeah, Mighty Max is watching CT, though, so he does have an idea this could be a possibility. Thomas is also playing behind the first boxes.
Right.
So they have the ability to shut down this rotation, and as soon as he spots the Mighty Max, the timing was so nearly against him. He nearly peaked at the worst possible moment. And are they going to expect 2 players here on this side? No. Thomas shutting down Coolio. Just have to get this last kill, and the round will be theirs. Endpoint take the 4-3 lead again and keep 3 players alive in the process.
Yeah, I like what Salamander was trying to do there, but just didn't quite have the numbers or the time to properly clear everything out, and so Endpoint will become victorious after a 3-round drought. Getting back in the lead. Back to a full buy. Utility across the board. Out for Crucial. Everything is looking swimmingly over there. Same for Salamander. Their economy is still in decent shape, though. This is kind of a round that could be worth 2, Vince. The way the economies are, and Crucial's got it off to a great start with that pick.
Yeah, exquisite start. Slight gap in the smoke, and he exploits it. And in that one moment, in that flash of the AWP, banana control was established, and now Salamander are going to try and quickly pincer and pivot their way through onto long side. There's a Molotov down there. Aaron taking a little bit of damage. They extinguish it, and now the nades now firing across from pit towards arches. 2 players stacked. Crossfire established, but down goes Surreal without any fight. Mighty Max at least is going to help his teammate out. There's a flash into a peek, and what a shot from Crucial, nailing Badito out of his boots, and Coolio can do little but look onto the site and see all of his teammates' corpses littered around him. At least 1 kill will be forthcoming, but he was not anticipating the quad play. Understandably, he was checking pit, and Endpoint will take the 5-3 lead.
Yeah, Endpoint's starting to find their footing now, it seems like. And now we see the repercussions. Salamander on just Eagles and a Tech 9.
Should be easy pickings, you'd at least hope from Endpoint's perspective. They have a huge gulf discrepancy in terms of firepower in their favor. And Salamander down to Deagles on a Tech 9. Thomas playing the same position again, this time with the XM though. I feel like he's used so many different guns already. He had the Nova earlier, XM, he's had the M4. What a shot by Robin there. Smack Scory in the face.
This is looking a bit grim for Salamander, but I guess it's to be expected considering what buy they had to work with here. There's 3 of them left. Benito also already very low on HP. Add Coolio to that mix. And just the 2 Deagles now remaining.
Nice snappy shot from Aaron onto quad. Surreal blasted in the face by the Deagle, but the bomb is still in what feels like an untenable position. They're not going to be able to get their hands on this Salamander anytime soon, and if they do, it should be at the cost of a life. Or at least that's what Aaron is feeling, but actually there is no cover from the Archer's side, and 2 kills come down. There's still enough time to get on the bomb and plant this. This is a winnable round. Neither of them have Kevlar, but they've both upgraded their guns to an M4 and an AK-47. Mighty Max shimmies out with a headshot, but now Aaron's playing up close. And he's going to get the clutch down. Salamander, how the hell have you snuck that? How have you stole that round?
It's unbelievable. I think they were in a 3-on-5 at one point, but then Bodito with this Deagle and Aaron just coming through Arch and Apartments, catching some great timing windows on that defense there. As you said, the upgraded weapons come across, and Aaron pulls off the 1v2, just some nice little maneuvering inside the site, getting on top of that box, catching Mighty Max a bit off guard with the angle. And that is really impressive from Salamander, but also a bit of a facepalm there for Endpoint. That should be around you close, especially given the economy situations. That was such an important round to come away with, and instead Salamander do, and now it's Endpoint on the back foot, having the 4-spy MP9s. A great chance for Salamander to tie up the game. They are really impressing me, to be honest. Like, I really like some of their strats. Like, their timing and utility has been pretty good. It's just sometimes they've gotten out fragged, but now they're starting to get it going.
I agree. I love that their T side has felt very fluid to me. Like, they're constantly mixing up. They're not afraid to throw in fakes, to throw in maybe a couple plays to basically be sacrificed in order to sell a fake. I really like that about them. And Endpoint, I will say, I don't think that we've seen even close to their top level thus far. They seem out of sorts to me, Dust. Like, they're still getting a lot of the jewels going their way, but some of the decisions they've made, some of the mistakes they made have been very questionable as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough. We're going to see what they can do with these MP9s, Vince. They're going to get aggressive at Banana once more. Might as well. That's your best bet with the MP9s is getting in their face, and at least they've been able to pressure Salamander back. But the thing is, Salamander's A-takes have been so on point. These apartment waterfall plays, just the way they've been able to get up lane with entries. Even with Banana, you know, not an option, they've been able to make do with it time and time again. Things starting to slow down a little bit now. Mighty Max spotting an opper there. Takes a little bit of damage. Not that much considering it was an op. Got a little bit fortunate there. He's getting a little bit of intel.
This force really does put Endpoint into a situation where they'll feel their backs are against the wall. They lose this, they are very likely actually going to be behind and trailing Salamander. You'd expect to leapfrog ahead of them at 6-5. But
Probably.
still, time is ticking away. Those double grenades are brutal, though, for Mighty Max, and that forces the incursion from Crucial with his Desert Eagle. They may not push behind this, and this is where a lot of the fakes are definitely going to be in the back of Endpoint's mind. They can't guarantee rotations will equate to wins. Like, they have to keep some people on A.
Yeah, Crucial here actually walks through the smoke just by a player. But the funny thing is he might actually get to the bomb, but his feet have been spotted on the edge of the smoke. That's so unfortunate for Crucial. It seemed on the brink of a nice little ninja play there, but it's not going to come to fruition. Instead, Salamander will get the bomb planted here, and Endpoint will be forced to again tap out and save just a couple of MP9s just to have something to work with in the next round because their economy is absolutely in tatters. And so Salamander, man, they're starting to put together quite the T-side here on Inferno.
Oh, the timing. Unfortunate for Aaron. Is going to pop back up again, though. And trying to stymie and carve out as many of these attempted saves from Endpoint. And as you said, I mean, their economy is so bad, they just need to hold on to these Kevlars and MP9s, which still isn't really going to give them a great deal to play with in the next round, but at least it gives them something. Salamander, though, 5-5. Their economy beginning to spike up nicely. And for my money, they have been, by quite a distance, the better team here so far.
No, I mean, I've been really impressed with their team play. It seems like they're doing a great job of like causing misdirection and trading off of each other and, you know, combining their utility, like the double nade stack there, for example, in the previous round. Just little things like that. They don't seem to shy away from things. They seem very confident. So, yeah, been pretty impressed.
Especially when you consider that 3 of the 5 rounds that Endpoint have, you have a pistol, and then you have 2 very dominant rounds where they only lost 1 player in those 2 rounds, and you're thinking, all right, their economy's built, like, this is where things get really scary. Salamander cut them back down to size, and they haven't really let them escape since then. They've always been breathing down their necks. Now they have that ability to go 6-5 in the lead and really turn the pressure up significantly. Surreal is playing A alone entirely, as they're systematically gaining control over top middle. And this is going to force some rotations out. And Endpoint actually fully rotating off B. Now, how look where the bomb is? It's Banana. They can still hit B right now, Salamander.
Absolutely. You said some rotations. Talk about all of them. The thing is, Endpoint have to gamble in a situation like this. I mean, they have 2 guys on USPs. Like, they have to, you know, feel forced to do such things. I can't really blame them for it. Unfortunately, though, as you said, they're going to be caught out of position. I mean, they all are on CT spawn, so at least they have a slightly fast rotate. But again, this one player, Coolio, doing such a great job maintaining all the position. And actually, it's causing them to go A with the bomb. But then after that fight, they're like, nah, Coolio spotted way too many guys. We need to get the heck out of here. They'll bring the bomb up B, which will be empty. But Dito fighting off middle, trying to stop that being a rotation point. At least for now, though, they are going to keep flooding him, and the bomb will go down at B.
Yeah, the rotations getting a little bit scary on both teams, to be honest, but they're going to be able to save an AK-47, which is significant. It's definitely a nice little boost in terms of their firepower. They have 2 SMGs, which, I mean, they're not going to be ideal in the next round, of course, but if they can hold on to them or maybe even get an exit frag, it's more along lines of their potential kill bonus reward. So we'll see if they can maybe get themselves a kill here, but whichever way you spin it, Salamander going to have a 6-5 lead. Looked pretty commanding in the process. Aaron with the peak, not going to check his angles. This is where that money is going to start to get printed. And if Crucial could maybe take everyone down, it's not going to happen. But if he could, at least it would make it expensive for Salamander.
Yeah, I mean, Salamander has so much money now built up over these last, 3 rounds in a row that they've won. Each of the 3 rounds that they've won, they've had, 1 round they only had they rebought nobody. So they've done a great job. They do have to rebuy 3 players this time around, but again, there's plenty of cash to do that thanks to the clean round they got prior. And now that they have that 6-5 lead that you were talking about, that looked all but certain. But Endpoint, maybe, now that they're back onto a buy. Crucial, though, is a glass cannon op, so that could pose some problems, and only 1 kit in play.
Yeah, this is where Thomas's saved AK is actually pretty huge. He dropped an M4 across to Robin, I believe, so gave them that little bit more utility, but still, even with all of those fine-tunings and trying to spread the wealth as much as possible, they still only have 2 smokes and 2 flashes, and there's well over a minute to play with, so this is looking very, very sketchy for Endpoint as it stands, and they are going to stack 4 players A because they have Thomas taking control of the Banana.
Yeah, though, as time ticks, since he has no utility left, you imagine someone's going to have to either trade places with him or he's going to have to get some assistance. And indeed, Crucial does make his way over. And again, because they have no utility to stall B, they're probably going to have to hold these 2 players B for as long as possible until they're 100% certain it's going to be an A attack. And Salamander indeed are getting control of brackets. They're starting to wrap around Moto, starting to get a good little A split going, Vince.
It's a good flashbang, but it's not really going to deter them too much. Mighty Max, though, his aim is true. He's keeping himself alive as long as possible. Headshot in. That's the bomb that goes with him. Great plays from Mighty Max. That could be the round-defining moment. And Albedito is going to keep their economy honest at the very least. And keeping these 2 CTs pinched on the site. They're about to get pincered as well from Coolio on quad. Bedito aggressively forcing his way out onto the site. Mighty Max runs out of ammo and Robin helps him out. So we're going to be tied at 6 apiece, but if Mighty Max doesn't tee off on the site with 2 frags, that round probably goes the way of the Hungarians.
Yeah, that was a big individual play by Mighty Max inside the site, dancing in the corner, catching the first player completely off guard who crossed, who just didn't really check that angle, and then able to just stay alive and get that second kill was so big. So finally a response here from Endpoint after several rounds off. They've only really won like 2 or 3 gun rounds actually this half. I mean, you have to understand that half their rounds come from winning pistol and the ensuing anti-ecos. Borzi opening up this one with the AWP, so already off to a good start, and this one is going to be Salamander. It's going to stretch the defense then on Endpoint, force them to have to guess rotations. Indeed, again, they're kind of relying on one player to hold B, though at least it's an AWP for Thomas, and he does have one smoke.
I mean, you hit them on the head that when it comes to rifle rounds, Endpoint have not really been up to scratch. Even in the rounds where they get a win, they're trying to bounce back in, they just instantly lose a player. They instantly lose a bit of ground off of bad timing. And so this round is no different. Salamander in the ascendancy.
Taking their time, just getting a little bit of map control. They're pushing off top middle. They won't stay there, but they've done enough to make Endpoint, feel forced to play more passive positions. It means they have no information on Salamander's maneuvers. And Salamander, as we can see, are definitely looking to go B, and there's no rotation even nearby to help out Thomas. It's all on him. Surreal finally going that way, but he's actually going to get maybe flanked. And now Thomas is down, and he's getting pinched. Surreal doesn't even know it yet.
Yeah, he's getting pinched, but there is going to be a rotation around the back of Aaron. If he's a bit slow, he will get fragged here. Or not, perhaps. The second player comes in. Surreal is still alive on the site. Finally, Robin helps him out. But Surreal's been put down. The bomb still needs to get planted, and the second upshot misses. Robin given a lifeline. How has Realtors missed that one? It was an absolute sitter. That would have been the round done. Robin knows that the AWP is on the left-hand side of the site, so it's all about figuring out where the other player is. Corey has the tight angle. At some stage, they may start to worry about a potential Ruins peak, but that's not going to be necessary because Corey puts down Robin, and Endpoint once again win a rifle round and then instantly lose out.
Yeah, and even the rifle round that they won, they had to rebuy a couple of players. So they haven't had a clean round since round 3, really. A lot of the rounds that they have won, again, has really kept their economy in check due to a lot of rebuying. And like you said, the win-1, lose-1, even though it's not the same hard reset as the past, it's still pretty brutal in this particular situation. As you can see, it's going to be 3 USPs, a CZ, and a Deagle. So Salamander going to be able to probably find round number 8 with little resistance that Endpoint can put up to it, as they have to save for the last round of the half. So this has been such a brilliant T-side from Salamander.
Yeah, no doubt. Take nothing away from Salamander's T-side. It has been pretty damn good. Endpoint, in the meanwhile, though, done themselves no favors. And now into an ecoed up round with a CZ and a Deagle. No grenades, no kits. And Salamander feeling out their options. They're slowly poking up on banana side. Just making sure that middle doesn't get pushed. They have a player also watching from an apps push onto second mid. And here comes the rotation. This is a very well-timed call from Endpoint. But even if they do get in here, even if they do stack, it's by and large going to be USPs. It's hard to see them still rattle off some frags. Flashes through. Boost up onto the CT side. Robin. Freebie of a kill onto Aaron. They do have time if they're going to pull back, but it has to be right now. And because they still have 2 players watching mid and second mid, they're not in good enough position to supply and support their teammates. Time is so scarce. What a strange round this has been. Molly's being tossed onto the coffin side. Thomas now peeking through with the CZ, making the most of the chaos, being opportunistic. And with 6 seconds to go, Coolio to 1v3. He has a good idea to a player being new box, but he gets put down. And it's 7-7. Endpoint's worst buy of this entire game has yielded them a round.
That is quite insane. As you said, just not expected to see that result at all, but Thomas and company just putting up a big individual effort with the pistols to get themselves into a tied game, and they will have a nice full buy for the final round. In the meantime, Salamander's one on the back foot, Vince. They have 2 MAC-10s and a Tech-9. Still, can be potent with those, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly less than ideal. Could help Endpoint actually still win this half, despite all their shortcomings.
Oh, timing. Unfortunate for Coolio. Mighty Max picks up his 13th kill of the half. And Salamander going to try and explode out with the weapons you mentioned, and MAC-10s, the Tech-9s, but it's walking into a wall of bullets from Surreal, perched up on the site. 1 man to go as Benito drops down into pit. And Surreal runs out of ammunition. This could get a little bit awkward. And it has got awkward, and it could get even worse than this because Benito is still pretty healthy. He's still alive. He's still landing headshots. But Mighty Max saves the day for Endpoint. How the hell did it get that close?
I don't know, man. Those last couple of rounds were pretty wild. Definitely a weird half. I mean, it seemed like Salamander were doing some great work. Again, they were up pretty heavy there at one point. I believe it was like 6-5. It felt like they were looking really, really confident. But yeah, those last 4 rounds were kind of a mixed bag, and Endpoint actually does wind up getting back ahead somehow when it's all said and done. Like you said, it was awkward. It was certainly not clean, but in the end, still enough. Big aggression, though, middle of the Salamander.
Yeah, aggressive from middle mainly. Just 3 players charged straight down there. Aaron gets domed instantly, but they've done the damage. They've got a 3v4. They're just going to back away. They still have a bit of utility they can place down from Coolio to stall the push on B. And Endpoint were even set up for a play like that. They were sat back at T-steps waiting for aggression. It came and they just lost all the jewels.
Yeah, that is a little bit tough. They were able to get one. They have a 3-on-4, which is still manageable. They do have a little bit of utility still left on Mighty Max. Thomas has been able to upgrade to USP. Give him a chance to take some further range duels and be accurate. But they're all going to gather up, though, in apartments, which means USP might not get a chance to do its best work, but we'll see. There are 2 defenders ready to deal with this in Pit and in Graveyard. It's going to be a tough take for Endpoint.
First flash is good. Vakori and Benito going to lock it down together. Thomas, 1 versus 4, has plucked up the first kill, but Benito shuts him down. And Salamander, an exquisite pistol round, will go the way of the Hungarians, and Endpoint on the back foot once again.
Yeah, quickly tied up here. We'll be able to get those MP9s out and play. M4 for Benito and Torzi. A little bit surprised to see Torzi go for an M4 as he is their opper. It's going to make it a little bit harder for him to grab it unless someone can drop him with some farmed MP9 frags. Meanwhile, Endpoint going for a full Glock save. Just the Glocks wouldn't expect much then in a situation like this from them.
Yeah, 1 flash has been purchased, which suggests we're going to have an explosion out into middle, or perhaps even like a waterfall kind of strat, and just try and overwhelm and see if you can at least get a bomb plant and a kill. But Salamander, honestly, this setup is really, really solid. It's kind of tailor-made for situations like this. Sit back on the site, let your SMGs do the talking for you. It does leave B a little bit vulnerable to being swept around the side from the CTs, but of course they're going to know this, and they position one of their M4s to watch the back for this very play. So now that the information has been gathered, they're going to know this is going to be a wraparound onto A more than likely. And Salamander can even start to push down a player through middle. I think he just got spotted from Thomas. Indeed, he did. They're going to go up for a few more peeks here. Block at this range, you may as well just be throwing insults down middle because you're basically going to do 0 damage. So, yeah, I mean, a couple of cool ideas from Endpoint, but this is where the massacre comes in, I think.
Oh, yeah. You would think so. They should be run to the blender any moment now. And indeed, there you go. Cool Z. Torzi, Aaron, everybody getting in on this. Only 1 kill. That was from Surreal, and now it's all to Robin, and yeah, all for naught. But again, that was kind of the expectations. There's nothing really to get too excited or disappointed about. This is the round that will kind of start telling us how things might go. Big round for Endpoint to try to recover themselves, and a great chance for Salamander to kind of just keep the lead, keep building, maybe even pull off the upset that's on the horizon all of a sudden.
Very true. They are not too far off getting their revenge. A 16-3 heavy defeat. Of course, Dust to an entirely different ball game. But still, that will be fresh in the back of their minds, thinking they have a point to prove. And I think they've already proved it. But they may be able to go a few more steps towards the finish line. And man, oh man, would that make this group very interesting if Salamander did win here? That would blow it wide open.
It certainly would. And I think Endpoint probably, as long as they won, one more game today against somebody, they wouldn't be hurting too much. But it could definitely make the second place race a little bit interesting, depending on how things go at Tricked and attacks. But we are going to see Endpoint looking to batter a little bit over here towards B. Surreal playing apartment solo, his normal default position, so nothing too crazy there, but he has been caught right away by Aaron. They've left Thomas alone at Banana, the rest going towards top middle. They are going to get control of brackets, no problem. There was no CT presence there. They're going to get up Arch, and no one's going to spot it until maybe now. Torsey, I think, is finally going to have B. And now they know it's going to be a B split, or at least they're aware it's a possibility.
Still a bit concerned about a potential wrap onto A, but this is putting things in a bit of a dicey situation. The Molotov to the back of the site. Not going to extend too far. I think Corey can stay in position on new boxes. And Corey has popped out. Badito holding the line elsewhere.
Oh.
Corey peeks into the Molotovs. I actually love that play. You're really not anticipating a player to push into the Molotov. You assume that angle is clear. And that grenade nearly does the touchdown damage. It's not going to deny the bomb from being planted. But with 6 HP, Crucial will have to pull off a miracle to clutch. He's not going to be able to pull it out the hat. Salamander hit double digits.
Wow, man. Yeah, like you said, what a great play through the fire there at the back of the site. That was actually one of the few times you kind of want to get in the fire. Definitely caught his opponent off guard. And really well managed by Salamander. I mean, they can always get really scary whenever they get control of CT spawn and they're splitting B and your 3 A players feel still kind of landlocked. But the 2 players on site did a great job buying time, getting the frags they needed for the rotation. And it's going to be a 10-8 for Salamander and Endpoint on to just a pistol buy here. So Salamander are really establishing themselves in this game, Vince.
Oh, they really are, man. Like, that's their bonus. They win it. They force Endpoint back onto an eco or half buy again. And, I mean, this is as good a start to the CT side as you could really be hoping for if you're Salamander.
Yeah.
So all the pressure is now quickly being applied to Endpoint, who are on the back foot.
Sure. Now, you feel like next round when they get a full buy again, it's kind of a must-win for them. Otherwise, it's going to start getting a little bit out of control. And the upset alert is going to be on full blast, as we are going to see, again, Endpoint trying to get into CT spawn through Archway. This time there's CT there at the pillar to greet them, but only good for 1 kill. And then 4 goes over to an armored Crucial. They have a 4-on-4. B is very vulnerable. It's going to be another split here. So actually, this is looking pretty good for Endpoint.
And it's Torsey, who only has an AWP, so there's no multi-frag potential here. So this is a very awkward position now. CZ round the corner, up in the air, and the AWP's going to trade hands. Have Endpoint really just pulled this off? There's 2 guns going to be trading as well. And there's armor behind them. So Salamander in the back of their minds, maybe even thinking of tapping out. If they don't get a kill soon, they should maybe just fall back, concede this, pull the plug, but they're not going to do it. They overextend, and they're going to be heavily punished. I can't believe that's worked out for them. Now, the issue for Salamander here, Dust, is they've consistently gave up arch control, and they've consistently allowed Endpoint to wrap onto B. At what point do they plug that gap?
Well, I mean, this round they kind of did by having Bodito play inside spawn by the pillar. So while they did give them the access to come up arch, at least they had someone up close on CT to try to defend against it. But he only got 1 frag, and that was actually their only frag of the round, I think. So, yeah, definitely not good enough. And yeah, they're going to have to do something. I mean, here's the thing. When you're a CT team and you're playing passive at middle, you're not getting information. You can't also play passive at Moto. You know, it's one of those things where you just give up too much information. Like, yeah, it's kind of standard that CTs will play passive on a site and kind of give up brackets. But if you're also not even really getting vision on the R trap, or you're constantly getting exposed, that's a real problem. Something's got to give. Like you said, you either need to adjust by having someone play in library or actually actively engage Moto a bit more, or they're going to have to face top mid a little bit better. Maybe set up some crossfires, put some utility down, try to slow Endpoint down, something. Something's definitely going to have to be adjusted there. And maybe that's what they're talking about in this timeout.
I think also they'll be making a decision, do we buy or not? Because they're in a weird position now where Coolio could drop, Aaron could afford. Because the rest of the team is a little bit in an awkward spot. Do they want to give this up, or do they want to try and fight? Do they want to try and hold on to this lead? And it seems like the answer has been given. They are going to fight for this. It's going to be a rough buy. MP9 picked up. Lack of grenades on a couple of players, but it's a better buy than I was anticipating at first. So they have managed to rummage together a solid purchase, but if they lose this, Dust, they are flat out broke.
Absolutely. Looks like it's going to be opening pretty default here with Thomas and Money Max looking to get some banana control. Surreal going apartments. Again, this is the same default Endpoint's been running for several months now. But they still have those comfortable roles and positions. That muscle memory is going to be there. They've backed off of banana pretty early, though, to get that bomb back, which is actually T stairs. And, oh, man, Salamander are facing middle. And they do have the firepower that maybe Endpoint aren't going to be expecting. So this could actually get really messy, Vince.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. But Endpoint haven't fully committed yet. They can still back away if they feel like things aren't going to quite go the way they're anticipating. The Molotov also put down the 2 entries, 3 entries, 4 make it in fact, unless Corey can somehow survive in alcove. How in the hell has that gone so cleanly for Endpoint? It was a 4-player stack in middle.
Yeah, that feels extra good. Like, it always feels nice to win the round, but it feels even tastier. It's like a chef's kiss whenever you can actually just brute force your way through a stack and come out almost unscathed. They lost 1 player. I mean, that satisfaction. Like, maybe you didn't get the right read, and that maybe stinks with, like, when it comes to strategy, but for fragging, bro, that gets you going. And I think it just had to do with how they timed their peaks, the angles that they took, and what utility they used along the way. Really kind of set them up for some one-on-one duels that were at least manageable.
This is the golden ticket for Endpoint now. They need to cash it in, though. There's going to be no buy from Salamander whatsoever, even in the next round. It's not going to be the greatest buy. So, I mean, this is surely Endpoint starting to steer towards the finish line.
And this is at least going to give them some big control of the game economically for probably the rest of the match, to be honest. Unless Salamander can win a few in a row and finally force Endpoint to save. It would take probably 2 or 3 rounds to do that. And this is not going to be one of them. As Aaron's getting pegged right now through that wall down to 82 HP. And look at this apartment stack. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, surreal. How unfortunate. At least the information gathered. It's now going to be a fast hit on B. Grenade chunking, but not killing anybody. And the second kill. Come on now, Endpoint. Surely not like this.
I doubt they lose still. Because I don't think they're going to go get that 1 AK T-search. They're still only going to have 1 AK, and everyone's unarmored and very softened up. So I think they still lose this. Unless that AK hits some nasty shots. But they still made it costly, and that's the bigger point.
Yeah, awesome to see replenished buys. The economy for Endpoint's looking pretty decent, but there's another one. So 3 replenished buys.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of money there for Endpoint, sure, but I'm sure they didn't want to be tapping into their wallets now. They wanted that money for later on down the road if things got tight. And so that slightly cracks open the window, like just ever so slightly.
Pretty good news as well. A few more extra kills gives them a couple of extra nades. Additionally, so that's one of the issues that we were looking at is this buy, if it does come out, which it has, you're looking at a lack of utility if they go for firepower as a priority. Well, they've kind of got the best of both worlds. Honestly, this buy is far better than Salamander really had a right to get out. So this round is very much up in the air right now.
You see some utility being lined up by Endpoint here over towards the A side for perhaps a type of rat play. Smokes are going to be in just the right places. They need them to get up Moto. There's going to be 1 player in library, but he's going to be smoked off unless he decides to shoot through it or peek through it. But no, he doesn't. And Robin's going to swarm the site, catches Aaron just in time. This is looking great for Endpoint.
Coolio, not long for this world. He's going to get checked from Mighty Max, who's feeling it. 2 players were caught. The bomb is in a very awkward position, though. Mighty Max may be getting a little bit too overzealous on those peaks. Now the bomb has been retrieved. It's at the cost of some HP, though, from Crucial, who had to navigate into a different position and ate a stray grenade. 3v3 retake. Salamander do have a kit. They do have a little bit of utility, but no flashbangs, which is very, very crucial right now for a potential retake in this position. Molotov tossed to the side. Smoke is going to afford them the chance to try and push through, but of course, Robin is going to spray that, taking down Corey. And in the process, Endpoint will have a 12-10 lead.
Good thought there by Robin to spend that smoke. He knew that his teammate in sight was probably in trouble due to that incendiary and the smoke blocking it off, and he does the right thing. There you have it. Endpoint going to get the 12. Money very low on Salamander. They can't really afford to buy too much around these 2 saved weapons. I mean, I guess they could force if they really felt pressured to get around here and now, but more likely just upgraded pistols would be in play. Julio having a tough time this game, Vince. 4 kills. He is not living in Gangsta's paradise at all.
No, certainly not. Feels like Endpoint as well have pinpointed that weakness that vulnerability in the armor of Salamander, and it is archers. They keep getting arch control. Torzi tries to go for a bit of aggression, tries to get info, but it's just going to be one of their two weapons that's been tossed away, quite literally, by the hands of Surreal, who's going to throw out the map, make sure they don't retrieve that later on. And Endpoint couldn't really have asked for a better start to the round, really.
No, certainly not. Getting a kill and getting one of the guns off the board right away certainly is going to behoove them. You see Salamander trying to pressure top middle just a little bit here with these pistols, but now the utility's starting to come in. So Dito, the one AK, is he actually going to do this? I think his shadow could be spotted on the edge of the smoke, but no one actually does, and he might be able to get a timing here, Vince.
Surreal might have him, though. Yeah, the smoke was just clearing. I saw the shadow as well, but obviously sometimes the spectator client's a little bit off compared to what the players see. So, oh, Aaron, okay. Spicy shot, but it's not really going to change the outcome of this round unless Corey can muster up some real strength. And, well, he has been made a little bit weakened by Thomas's headshot with the AK.
Yeah, it seems like Endpoint are probably starting to clamp down. We're going to get the 13 here. Starting to get real good control of the game. Haven't lost a gun round yet. Will now be 5 in a row.
Oh, Robin, not like this. Not like this. That would have been a big kill. Oh, dear. He's going to want to forget about that one real quick.
He's had a blunder.
Which could be a costly blunder as well, because that means Aaron can probably save the AK and the armor. That's going to put him up into a position to maybe even drop an AWP to Torzi or somebody like that. So this can have quite a domino effect.
At least make sure that they, get a lot of utility on Aaron. He doesn't have to worry about buying a gun. So, indeed, he does buy the AWP and drop it over. So, Vince spot on, using his bald head as a crystal ball of sorts.
Correct.
Might as well get some use out of it. Do you foresee anything else in our future, Vince?
A lot of CS today.
Yeah. I like how you've taken that the innocent and easy route.
Yes, absolutely. My brain was wanting to go in other places, but we
so
still...
many other places. But we don't want to get fired. I mean, we're still pretty early on in this tournament, so
indeed,
if we're gonna get fired, we have to wait until like the last day or something like that. Wait until like the last map of the semifinals, and then let it rip.
I'll make a prediction though. I will say that we are going to have at least 2 overtimes today. So
why have you done that? Well, why have you done that in the same map though? Because I'm down with that as long as it's not like 2 separate maps that have like an overtime.
2 separate ones.
No. Why have you done that?
I can feel it. And it's going to be vertigo just to trigger you, like maximum trigger.
Why have you done that? I mean, to be fair, I would take vertigo over nuke at this point. Like, just because of how many times we've had to cast nuke. Like, we haven't even casted vertigo yet, I don't think, this tournament. So, I don't mind having one. Especially because I haven't actually got to see vertigo with, like, the new mid, like, the new, like, ramp to B site. So, it'll be interesting to see how that changes the map. But anyway, we're back to Inferno now. And, oh, that was almost a lineup. That was real close.
How has he not killed either of them?
I know, that's wild.
What?
That's a head scratcher.
Because that would have been like the full circle. That would have been Robin whipping into a kill, and there is the AWP at the back of the site. No 2 kills going to go the way of Torzi. And he was kind of isolated. Those good smokes and Molotovs planted down, so they couldn't really deny the push. But Corey comes through with 2. And keeps the dream alive in round 24 for Salamander. 2v4 retake, smoking the CT side. Surreal going to be stuck on his own for a few moments as Crucial did have a flashbang land in his eyes. And Crucial moves with the perfect timing to mitigate the Molotov, but now he's gone down. And Surreal, 1 on 4. There's 2. Spins back around for 3. Oh my God, Surreal. If ever there's been a nice try, there it is right there. Put your NTs in chat. That was so close to a ridiculous clutch.
Oh, that up-close kill inside pool was just wild, man. Yeah, you have to give him the NT on that one. But you also have to give a huge applause to Corey. He was straight wrecking them from the ruins. And that gets Salamander to a spot where at least they're still competing. At least they're still there. The problem is their money situation. If they were to take an L here, it would almost be all she wrote. So they are still very much deep in the woods. They are not out even close yet.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, other than just the flashy play of how great that play from Surreal looked, it actually has significant impact on Salamander as well, as you say. It doesn't allow them to feel even remotely safe.
No, not at all. I mean, they had to even get a FAMAS this round just to be able to get a couple of flashbangs on Coolio and be able to have him have armor. So this is a very big round, and Endpoint know that. That's why they're, taking their time, getting some top-middle control, but not committing too much either way. They have all but given up on Banana, unless they decide to re-aggress much later, but that would be hard because you don't know if the CTs have taken it. And, I mean, it is a 4-man A stack as well for Salamander, which is going to make things even tougher for Endpoint. Now, they have cracked a stack before at top middle, so it's not like they're strangers to being able to just brute force their way in. And they're a very scrappy team, to be fair. They kind of enjoy that type of play style where they just kind of get in your face and scrap. So I imagine that they'll feel just fine coming into this. But actually, I haven't really decided just yet.
Keeping their options open until the last few seconds. Going to use every single one allocated to them Endpoint. There's only 30 more of them at their disposal. Aaron playing the timing perfectly with 2 kills. Not going to be able to get a third, but the information has been gathered. The bomb's been dropped. And now they can traipse over that third player. Over towards A. And Coolio biding his time. Jumps in with the FAMAS. It's going to be another kill. It comes down to a 1v1. This has kind of crept up on us. And now Tors against Robin. The York versus the AK. There's not much room for error here for Torzy. He's missed his shot. He gets put down. 14-11. The economy is crunched again for the Hungarians.
Man, that was such a close round. Salamander, I thought we're doing such a great job there. Their pit defense caught the balcony push. Had a great little push through the smoke there for a couple of kills at Archway. It seemed like things were stacking up. They had the 4-man stat to begin with. And still, Endpoint find a way to win. Again, just that scrappy nature of this Endpoint team. And yeah, 14-11 now is the score. Money for Salamander is pretty bad. It's not where you want it to be. I mean, I'd be down to have a few grand, to be honest, but in this game, it doesn't really do you much, especially on that CT side.
Certainly not. You feel like you're flat out broke, even if you have $3,000 or $4,000. I mean, Aaron must be so triggered, though. Like, he makes a perfect play in Arches through the smoke, sprays down 2, and I think tagged the third player for like 50, and they still lose a round. He's like, guys, what else do I have to do here?
Certainly tough to watch, I imagine, for Salamander and their fans, but for Endpoint, it's starting to get great because they have won 6 of the last 7 to put quite the recovery in place and get them just a couple away from securing another victory and staying perfect here in the group stages of Blast Rising. Carrying over that 3-0 from week 1. Been a little bit more labored, to be fair. They had an easy time with Salamander last week, 16-3 on Dust 2. This has definitely been more difficult work for them, but they're getting it done. Big banana push here.
Oh, they got baited by the Molotov. They thought it spread far enough. They had no idea Thomas was in the little cubby. Thomas is getting destroyed off grenades, but he's going to stand tall and survive and force away Salamander. They went for the aggression. They tried. They rolled the dice. It has not worked out. And now they're in trouble one more time.
Are they going to celebrate? Oh, yeah. No? Okay. That was a stretch, to be fair. But I was just trying to get their joy up, trying to get their hopes going, Try to keep the mood light, because things are definitely tough on Salamander right now. They're going to try to aggress that smoke a little bit over towards Archway, but they're not going to commit too much. They do at least have all their players in the right place. That's the one thing going for them. They might get some close quarters battles, but they've already lost 1 member along the way.
Mini pick going to go unchecked. That's going to cost Thomas his life, but it's fine. It gets traded back straight away, and they have a good idea. There could be another player on the site. They're going to find Coolio, and they're going to bag themselves 4 match points. Endpoint continue to try and strive towards an unbeaten streak in Group A.
Four map points, Vince, and Salamander obviously will buy what they can, but as you can see, it's slim pickings. Only 1 M4 in play. Everybody else is doing with something inferior. Utility is not quite high either. We're going to see Endpoint just kind of play out their default as they have time and time again, getting that banana control at Mighty Max and Thomas per usual. Apartments control as well coming in. Again, same normal faces in that territory. They're getting way up banana vents.
Yeah, early on as well, not really allowing Salamander even the opportunity to try and push down there. They need to retrieve the bomb, however. Robin's going to go back and pick it up. So they are now going to fall out of Banana and start to head towards middle. They've already expended quite a lot of the utility as well from Salamander.
Yeah, they did a great job putting enough pressure on there as well to force Salamander to cheat a third player over, which is going to kind of open up a little bit of a gap here at A, at least for now, though it is closing as Badita will get back in position, but with an MP9, he just has to hope for a close range through Archway. And he's not going to get it. Mighty Max at range will get him with the AK, and now A is going to get wrapped.
Player mini pit has been put down. One more remains. That's Aaron. He gets sprayed out. 2v4 retake. Robin down to 1 HP. Torzi and Corey have no grenades, no kits. Just a FAMAS in the hands of Corey. It is very difficult to see how they can maybe pull this one off. It's a 1-4 trade, though. Keeps at least a glimmer of hope for Torzi, who's now making moves towards middle. He's waiting to see if someone peeks him. But all this time is just depleting. All of it's dwindling away. And he's not really left himself much room for error now. He's not going to be able to check all the angles, and Thomas is going to capitalize. His Endpoint take the 16-11 win. It was very close. That first half, honestly,